My name is Sebastian, your gender activist and beta parenting coach. And today we are going to be looking at some warning signs of sexual abuse in not just a girl child and also a boy child. Most of the time there are these misconception of gender being just about girl and women, but I'm here to tell you that gender is for both sex, be it male and also female. And I also want you to understand that there are also a lot of sexual abuse out there that is affecting male gender, and most time we tend to neglect our male children and pay so much attention to our female children. So with this information, it will give us an insight about some of the sexual abuse that our male children are also going through that may affect them more also both physically, mentally, psychologically, behavioral change, and the rest of it. And today we are going to be looking at behavioral change in relation to sexual abuse. What are those changes that you see in your children that will make you pay more attention to them, seek for more information about their behavioral change, ask them some certain questions while you do listen to them so well. So thank you for listening to this particular episode because it's going to help us a lot, especially for new generation mom that really need to pay attention mostly to our female children and our male children, most especially our adolescents. However, I have over 5 years experience in the field of gender, and I can tell you for a fact that even children 2, 3, 4, 5 years are experiencing sexual abuse on daily basis. So my dear, nobody should be left out. No child should be left out. Proper information should be given to these children on time, okay? That your husband, the children's biological father, can be an abuser. He can defile the child, he can sexually abuse a child. That your brother-in-law, that your brother, that family friend, nobody should be trusted as far as sexual abuse is involved. So what are the sudden changes? We'll be looking at sudden changes in behavioral of personality, increased anxiety, aggression, withdrawal, or depression. A child that was always very active, you see the child has developed sudden anxiety, nothing interests her. She's always depressed, she's always aggressive, okay? She withdraws herself from every activity. You can see a child that was always having interest in some of the television program. She's always going out to study with friends. She's always playing some games. She have interest about some certain things. All of a sudden, that child lose interest of all those stuff. So you need to ask questions. Okay, you have to bring the child close to your heart. Reassure the child of his or her safety. Do not forget that we are looking at both male and female gender, both boy and female child. Okay, so as a parent, you look after your female children and also look at after your male children. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is that when you realize that your children develop anxiety, depression, they lose interest, they lose focus, they are always withdrawn, they just want to be on their own. In fact, from morning till night, they are not hungry, they don't ask you for food, and even when you give them food, they are not interested. They lose focus on so many things. A child that loves to study, suddenly, in fact, the child don't even want to go to school again. The child totally lose interest about everything that concerns life. So this is number one sign of sexual abuse. And how can you get information from this child? By being this child friend, relating with this child, make this child understand that no matter what, you are not going to judge her, you are not going to judge him. Okay, so we move to number 2, sexualized behavior of knowledge beyond age. You see children that are saying some things about sex, okay? Some children are saying things that ordinary is more than the child age, mentioning some certain things, talking about porn, talking about kisses, talking about romance, talking about some certain, having some certain information that ordinarily at that child age, that child is supposed not to know about these things. Talk more of having such a level of information. Also understand that it is not until there is penetration of penis through the vagina that a child is abused sexually. There are some persons that play porn for children. That's also sexual abuse. Okay, there are some persons that are telling children about sex. A child of 4 or 5 years, you're already telling a child about sex, you're telling a child about some certain things. That's also an abuse on that child. Okay, so you tend to see children that are saying a whole lot about sex, that are saying a whole lot about sexual activities. That's a number 2 sign of sexual abuse. Then number 3 is fear of specific people or places. Yeah, this one, I have a lot of will I say testimony concerning this. Most especially here in Nigeria, we value religion so much that even when a priest is molesting a child, and you are still sending that child to a priest's house, you are still sending that child back to the pastor's house, and the child is constantly telling you, Mommy, I don't want to go to that person's house. Daddy, I don't want to go to that person's house. Even when the child open up to tell you because this person is sexually abusing you, shut that child down. How dare you say this against a man of God? Don't you know he's an anointed man of God? Do you want God to punish you? My dear, there is nothing like an anointing when it has to do with sexual abuse. Even if it is that prophet, even if it is that pastor, even if it is that priest, that bishop, you can mention them. Okay? They are molesting children on daily basis. There are so much pedophiles out there. So for your child to be afraid of a particular person should already give you a clue of what must have been going on behind your back. Instead of you pushing that child to go to that person, rather bring that child close to you and ask that child some certain question like, why don't you want to go to sorry if I'm using your name, Pastor Joseph house again to assist in fetch water or wash plate or wash clothes, whatever domestic activity the child has been going there to assist the pastor with. Or even your male children can start withdrawing themselves even from the same sex personality. Even your male child. You see that the same pastor, the same priest is also molesting this child. Okay, is also defiling this child, abusing this child sexually, or even a female person can also defile a male child. So please, let parents do better in listening to their children. Allow your child to trust you. Allow your child to believe in you. Allow your child to talk to you. Allow your child to trust you enough to know that I can tell my mom anything and she will not judge me. I can tell my dad anything and she will not judge me. Whenever I tell my dad this, I know you will believe me, okay? So build that relationship with your children, because it is only when you build that relationship that they can always come to you whenever they encounter these challenges, whenever they encounter these issues in their lives. And also be intentional to know where your children go, to know what they do, they relate with, and also study their behavior. when they are relating with these people, what they do. Ask them questions. When your child go out and come back, you can talk to mom, you can talk to daddy. So if anything is going bad, you tell me about it, okay? And these children should also know some sensitive parts in their body that a man shouldn't touch, some level of discussion that somebody should not have with them in order for you to put them in check. Then number 4 thing is regressive behavior, returning to bedwetting, suckling of hand. A child that have stopped bedwetting, a child that have stopped suckling his hand and the rest of it, going back to all this childlike behavior, okay? You see a child that stopped bedwetting over a year or 2 years, suddenly that child starts bedwetting again. That child is now bedwetting, sucking finger, living like his IQ have already reduced from the level where he or she was to a lowest level. These are the times that parents start shouting at children. At your age, you are now behaving, you are 7 and now you are behaving like a 3-year-old child. What's your problem? Instead of you yelling at that child, you should do better by bringing that child close to you and start asking these children some sensitive questions, because it is when you know what they are going through that you can assist them. They need you as their parent, they need you as their guardians to help them through this process. Then number 5 things, which is the last thing that we are going to be discussing today, is change in school performance. A child that was always doing so greatly in school, suddenly the child is performing so poorly in school, okay? The child has come from top to the bottom. Look at you. You have been doing well in school. In fact, why am I still spending my money on you? Why am I still spending a whole lot of money on your school fee? You want nothing. Instead of you to help that child through that process, you are adding to the child injury. Please, parents, instead of us cascading our children when we identify any of these 5 that is listed, let us do better in asking them questions. You have been doing well in maths. You score nothing less than 90 in maths for the past 3 years. And this time you're scoring 20. Daniel, what's the problem? Angela, is there a problem? You can talk to mommy. You can talk to daddy. I am not blaming you. I'm not scolding you. But trust me, I'm your parent, right? And I want the best for you. So whatever it is, I will protect you with my life. Talk to me, okay? Because I'm the only person that can help you. All right? With this child is already relaxed. This child can tell you, some children can even be bullied in school. You don't know, even a teacher in school can be the abuser. The perpetrator can be a teacher in school. You never can tell. A fellow student in school, especially in secondary schools, can also be the perpetrator. Okay? And if this child does not have anybody to look up to discuss with, this child is already depressed. And you as parents, you need to stand in that gap. Then note that if you notice this sign in a girl or a boy child, it's essential for you to listen to them carefully. Okay? Listen to them carefully. Do not give them a look that will make them feel so much uncomfortable. Let them feel so comfortable around you. Feel free to tell you anything. Feel free to discuss all they have experienced in their life with you. And trust me, this is the number 1 way of healing for children that have experienced sexual abuse. Because as they're talking, they are losing their mind. Those things are relieving, they are being relieved from those toxic thoughts that have already accommodated their chest. Okay? Also note that if there's a perpetrator in the life of your children, one thing that perpetrators constantly does is to threaten children. And when you are asking them this question, you have to reassure them that their safety is guaranteed because you are their parents and you can always protect them. So whatever it is, they should talk to you about it. So do well to follow this page to get enough tips, because tomorrow we will be looking at some physical signs. Physical signs is that will make you have a clue that this child is experiencing sexual abuse. Thank you.